Well, just going on YouTube, this is Acid Roots. So I'm going to review the second album by rapper Future. Basically, this product is called Honest, and it came out in the spring of 2014. So the thing about this product here is just the fact that trap music was kind of melded around this particular time as far as this was going to happen. The in between albums like Pluto and Pluto 3D were definitely huge successes within the format of it, and Chief Keef and folks like that were starting to flesh out things within trap music. But the pitch behind it was the mixtape scene was starting to dissolve a little bit as far as what was first going to happen within the aspect behind it. It's just kind of the format that. Yeah, Future did drop a hit mixtape, which I reviewed back in early 2024 called FBG, the movie, and pitches like that. And there were a few other projects that Future put out. I'm going to start getting to some of these later on as far as what's first going to happen, stuff that he did in 2013 with the pitch behind it. Future was originally going to drop an album in 2013. I remember being real excited for that, particularly getting ready to come out. It's going to be called Future Hendrix. Now, that particular album did come out in 2017, but originally it was going to be more R&B flavored, more like songs like Turn on the Lights and Never End, some of those type pitches off of Pluto, and some of those type ones off the more R&B type ballads off here. Now this particular album is this one's a little bit more melded within the concept of it. This feels like the concept, it has a little bit more ambient, it's definitely a shape-shifting type trap album within the pitch behind it, but if you're expecting more tunes like the mixtape Future, this is not as much mixtape bound type Future. It does have that on here. It definitely is recommended to get the deluxe edition that has a lot more bangers on there within the pitch behind it. Just has the aspect, the standard edition is actually rather quieter within the aspect as far as those tones kind of happens. It's kind of the pitch as far as saying it's a particular Future as he started to adapt like his songwriting and get more crafted to becoming like a more commercial juggernaut as far as what's first going to happen. The pitch behind it was Pluto with some good attempts at that, but the more makeshift kind of radio grabs within the pitch that were more aiming for like more makeshift kind of radio grabs that were aiming for like more pop type radio and pitches like that, the way Drake was getting to, and Kanye West, some of those type folks, and 50 Cent and Wiz Khalifa, some of those type folks, was just not as full bound. Future still kind of seemed more as like a trap rap around that particular time, but he was starting to cross over. This album was not as much full bound within that facet, but this is definitely some good aspects to be able to say that these are some good alternatives like the pitch as far as not as full bound kind of makeshift from the pitch, but it definitely has some good aspects of being able to be in that department as far as those players can have. And I'd say Future is definitely a good alternative. Basically, I have like some pretty banner and commercial kind of hustlers makeshift as far as those players can happen. So this a little bit more radio friendly compared to Pluto, but then Pluto is a pretty massive success just because of the blitzing type of feel. That's like a classic rap album, definitely in a sense. Pluto got to like the 6th single. This one's a little bit quieter, but it's just the pitch as far as saying this one's a little bit more commercial, but this has less kind of carnage about it compared to like some of the bangers off of Pluto, like when you think of Same Damn Time and Go Harder, Tony Montana, some of those type ones. It's not going to have like those mixtape gems as full bound. And one of the 5 singles off this product is just a remix to a song off FBG the movie, which is Karate Chop Remix. It does have Lil Wayne on there now, which is an excellent type pitch, but yeah, for the most part, Future did not focus on like the more riled up kind of strip club type bangers, some of those type formats within the pitch behind it. Another one like that would be Magic Remix that had T.I. on there off that album. There's just not as many songs like that, but it does have like some pretty multifaceted type pitches. It kind of, and within certain sense, it's not even like strip club kind of bleeders. Like when you look within the pitch, like songs that Future did with Rihanna, like Love Song, and then when you think of songs like he did with Kelly Rowland, like the Never End remix, it's kind of within the pitch as far as saying that a lot more it is trying to aim for like a more kind of just like contemporary type facet as far as getting to like pop radio. Now the pitch behind it, the altitude behind it, this album, in terms of what was thought about it back in 2014, this was kind of a quieter type era. There weren't a ton of things coming out in like the first half of 2014. It was just kind of a more kind of, not necessarily full bound awkward, but just kind of this less predominant within the pitch. I feel like within certain formats, Drake had just dropped in late 2013 with Nothing Was the Same, so he was kind of on a quieter era, and Lil Wayne was kind of on a quieter era as well. Lil Wayne was kind of on a quieter era. He was getting ready to drop the Carter 5, which wouldn't come out till 2018. Jeezy was kind of quieter around these times, so it's just the concept behind like trap folks who would have been predominant. A lot of these folks dropped in late 2013, so there wasn't as much going on in early 2014. But Casino, Future's brother Casino, did drop a mixtape around this particular time. He dropped Frank Matthews, which is pretty excellent appeal. But even that particular album was a lot quieter within the pitch. So it's just kind of the pitch as far as saying this kind of was like the early stages. I feel like Monster was probably a little bit more vicious with the impact of understanding like the pitch as far as getting towards like what was going to be the IG living and more Snapchat era like trap trap music as far as those formats, but this had like some basic, this is another, just like Pluto is a pretty like trailblazing type product in terms of fleshing out and getting the initial albums of trap music kind of in the door in terms of like 2010s trap. This particular one was like this is like the kind of fetus kind of early stages of getting like trapped to like the Instagram living some of those type formats within the pitch as far as how it would be from basically about 2013, 2014 to pretty much about 2022, 2023 until about when Young Thug and Gunna, some of those type folks went to prison about on the eve of like the Drake and Kendrick beef as far as those affairs going to happen. And it's not to say that trap is not still around. It is still around in a lot of senses, but it just feels a lot more wounded. It's not as predominant that you'll get like the mainstay type folks really dropping this full bound. There's a lot of things in music that are kind of going through shape shifting. It's just kind of the format. But this is one that helped kick off pretty much an entire decade as far as those. This album helped kick off like an entire decade as far as those formats can happen. Now it's within the pitch as far as saying the reception kind of seems more haphazard. It's within the pitch. Like I said, it's kind of quieter within the pitch behind it, not as full bound. Pluto might have been a little bit more fun in terms of like a weekend and kind of mixtape type sense within the format, but this one just has a little bit more. It's more for beesies within the pitch as far as those pairs, not to have a problem within that pitch, just kind of the format, but it just doesn't have like the rilers in terms of something with like hella smokish with your pals. It's not as ferocious, and it's the same thing that happened with Casino around this time. It's just it's just more melded. So, but we'll get to that. But this album's still going to get a 10. There's really only one song out of the 17 songs on here I don't recommend. So I should tell you that this is an easy enough classic within the pitch. But yeah, the promotion cycle of this album stretched pretty far, from basically about the winter of 2013 when it was originally going to come out somewhere in like fall of 2013 to about the spring of 2014, so it's a good type pitch. But Karate Chop Remix is the first one. This was a nice one. This actually came out just a month after FBG the movie. This has Lil Wayne on there now instead of Casino. It's like a red hot kind of supersizing of like a classic 2010s mixtape gem, I'd have to say here. Just a great song to get blitzed to and hammed out as far as this pitch comes. So just typical type feature on like his strip club and trap type bangers within those pitches. Just if you really are thoroughly missing mixtape feature off this particular album, this is a definite nice one for some of those type banginess. It's definitely, the original Karate Chop is pretty awesome within the pitch. I would not ignore if you fuck with this and you're just more album bound. I would definitely go back and fuck with FBG the movie. That has a lot of good bangers on there within those pitches. Feature Casino, Young Scooter, a lot of these folks, Slice 9, some of those folks had a lot of good aspects behind some of these products that had plenty of good thing. FBG the movie is definitely a dope as fuck type product. So I wouldn't, just pay attention to that concept when you see the remix. Go fuck with the original as well, I'd have to say. But yeah, Honest is the second single. It's like a trailblazing kind of softcore trap ballad to kind of get with an aspect of it. Just some makeshift kind of break free, I'd say, within the tone here. Just kind of a Pluto. This is like Pluto radio on steroids as far as this pitch can happen. So just the pitch when you think of some of those type ones. Now some of these, not so much in like the aspect like Never End and not so much in the aspect of like Never End and Turn on the Lights, but just kind of the more format of something. It just kind of feels like I don't think there were actually singles off Pluto that kind of had the format, but it's just one of those type ones that just felt like a kind of hop to it and kind of report to work, report to class, like a more hustlers type aspect. Honest is just kind of a trap kind of soul bleed as far as those first can happen. Just basically kind of like a makeshift kind of trap ballad within the pitch. Just something like when you think of folks like Coil Ray, Lil Durk, some of those type folks would kind of do. Folks like that, Young Thug in certain senses would kind of do some of these type ones. You've probably heard several songs like this where they just let the auto tune bleed some of those particular type formats that just like particular kind of Instagram stories type music for more trap centric type Instagrammers and pitches like that. Some of those type formats within the pitch, probably something you'd see like them just posing like a selfie in their bathroom with like their phone camera pitches like that as far as those first happen. So it's just when the pitch as far as saying basic type noise. This is a pretty popular type song within the pitch. It's more Hustlers makeshift kind of contemporary within the pitch, but it's a good example of Hustlers makeshift type pitch with an aspect of it. Was this kind of format as far as Future having a pretty big staple that was pretty predominant throughout like social media for a good while as far as those first happen. So just the aspect of nailing some of these trailblazing type ones. It's just the aspect there weren't songs like this as full bound on Pluto, so this is kind of a trendy type one, at least for the times. Definitely was a song that was very copied throughout the 2010s, I'd have to say. Now, probably one of my favorite songs off this album would be Shit. Definitely appreciate this one. This is the sort of vicious energy that I was originally thinking that Honest was going to have throughout the format kind of it. This is the sort of stuff that Future pretty much full bound. This is on the deluxe edition, so this particular banger, this is what I talk about with some of these on here as far as saying that the format of a lot of these, just the pitch behind it, there are not tons of songs like this on the standard edition, so this makes a lot more sense to get the deluxe as far as those formats going to happen. But this is one one of the best songs on the entire album in terms of the deluxe. It's like a throwback kind of Future Boiler to get to like early 2010s days. I'd say when you think of like Dirty Sprite, when you think of like the mixtape that he did with Gucci Mane, some of those type of ones. When you think of FBG, the movie, when you think of Astronaut Status, some of those particular type formats, just within the format of that particular fair, this is like gnarled kind of strip club venue kind of hammer up as far as those pitch can happen. So this definitely one to kind of get hella crunk to as far as those formats can have and get some drinks in your system. This that typical kind of format of this, run it up, kind of get some noise going within the aspect. This is like Future in his groove and his. This is like Future in his groove and in his niche to be able to do songs like this. Definitely the format, but I would pay attention to the concept as far as saying that this is the pitch as far as Future not having this on the standard edition. If it had been Future from 2012, this probably would have been one of the ones on that particular format. But it's just kind of the pitch that this feels kind of secondary and just not as, it kind of, I think purposely was not paid attention to as full bound. It's not to say like it's not a good song, it's just kind of the pitch as far as saying that there's just a shift in focus on like some different type styles that Future kind of goes along with on this album. But still, it's a classic banger, just the pitch of just, if you miss like 2011 Future, 2010, 2012 Futures within the pitch of getting that. So just mixtape Ready Boiler. Move That Dope's the fourth single. Now this is a song I think charted. I'm gonna go ahead and see. Move That Dope is the most popular song off this album according to like the discography and the chart appeal that it particularly had. This was like a top 50 single. Now the format of it, like I was saying, Future was kind of always more in that particular kind of rhythmic. Future up to this point was not getting like the number ones, the number threes quite as full bound. He was more in like the trap type setting and definitely like a trap staple within those pitches. But in terms of like the crossover, didn't have as much crossover compared to like Drake. And when you think of like folks like Wiz Khalifa, some of those type folks within the format, and folks like Pharrell, some of those type pitches within the pitch behind, but it's definitely, this is a star-studded type of song on here. This has, I'm glad that Casino's on this song, good that he made it to a future album, some of those type pitches. Pharrell is on this song, which is pretty interesting, him being on like a trap type song, and then Pusha T's on here when he had recently dropped his late 2013 album, so it's a good type pitch. It's like a basic kind of murky and offhanded kind of commercial trap bruiser, kind of get with the aspects here, just some evening kind of flip moding as far as those fairs can have. So this is just particular brushy type aspect about this song. It's just the tone as far as saying it just is kind of a real kind of scuzzy type one. It's kind of rattled within the pitch. It just woke up, probably got some beers in your system, just the immediate type format of it. Just the pitch of this woken up at like 6:45 pitches like that as the Reds guys are kind of going along with it, whether this is a summer or winter type songs within the pitch as far as saying it's a good type format of disfiguring things out and like a kind of late shift kind of embellished as far as what's going to happen. Also within the product of dislike, relative lengthy data is the format. I mean, this is a good type one. I like the chart appeal about this song. This has a good format as far as getting towards something that probably if Future had done more songs like this might have had a little bit more commercial type appeal. But it's just interesting that this is one of Future's most popular songs in terms of the commercial bite behind it, because it's just not like the most, like you would seem like, doesn't seem like the most ideal kind of candidate for one of his most popular songs, but it's definitely a real affable type one to get that here. Just kind of the product of relative lengthy day, kind of within the pitch as far as those formats going to go. Just the pitch of like, basically just got done with work shift, kind of the conduct of figuring out what's going to happen, but just in like it's just kind of a buzzing and kind of more like, it's kind of a buzzing, kind of rattled type song within the pitch within the production type area. So it's kind of a good format to kind of get some of this. It feels more amidst the venue, like it has two different verse layouts as far as the pitch can happen. Pharrell and Pusha T's is different from Casino and Futures, so the pitch behind it, Casino and Futures, is more in like a more murky kind of rattle type sense. It's kind of scuzzy, and then it feels more amidst like the strip club with more venue type brightness with an aspect of like Casino, or in terms of like Pusha T and Pharrell's type parts. So it's just the pitch as far as saying just the initial product of getting towards like some venue noise, just the excitement of it. I look within it, but it's just good type tone. I1 is a nice one as well. This one is pretty similar to Honest, I'd have to say here. It's like an early bird kind of kickstart for some glowy kind of IG living. I'd have to say with an aspect of it, just some trap Galvan, I'd have to say here. Definitely some polished babe kind of white noise for us this pitch can happen. Just like Honest, I feel like these particular two ones are just easy kind of make a pose for the camera pitches like that. Just smile your uncanny. It's kind of smile your on candid camera type noise, and the aspect of it is the basic pitch, like the initial kind of product as Instagram started to get fleshed out a lot more, and the social media aspects were starting to kick off. So it's just within the format as far as saying it's basic noise towards more kind of contemporary typeness within the aspect of like how things were starting to flesh out. This kind of early bird type pitch. Kanye West is on this particular song, which is some good type appeals within it. So it's just good probably get Future and Kanye type songs within the aspect, but. So yeah, this is kind of a shapeshifter of an album, but Yeah, like I was saying, this particular album moved away from like the pitch of just having like straight mixtape type boilers to kind of build up like a mixtape type buzz within the pitch behind it. Just not as much hungry feature within the aspect, but a lot of these type formats, some of these songs on here, I did like Honest brings off like a trap ballad kind of aspect. It just likes a good style that kicked off with a lot of folks that copied that particular song. And Move That Dope was just like a good makeshift kind of just got done with things. I Won is like a good kind of IG living type one. And then Shit and Karate Chop are like the basic mixtape boys within the format. So it just had the pitch about that, but it really felt like a conduit type project as things were starting to kind of shift out of like a different mode. It's just a very kind of growing pains type project. I think that's the correct phrase to say. This is like some growing pains of like an album as far as this pitch can happen. But so I recommend every song off this album, off the deluxe edition, with all the extra songs. There's 17 songs on here. The only song I don't recommend is this Ben's Friends, What You Tola, which features Andre 3000. That's the only song I don't recommend. Just talk about that one. This is just a piss poor kind of rendition. I really didn't get the concept about this song, why this one was so abrasive and kind of unflattering within the pitch as far as that format kind of happened. Just did not really have like the composition of something. Like I realized that Andre 3000, kind of the sarcasm, how most people want him on like some new music and pitches like that, and he purposely goes out of his way to not do it. It's just kind of the format as far as saying that it just kind of feels like him just parading in like the concept of being with a kind of sarcastic or disrespectful connotation as far as this pitch can happen. It's just the format of this. Oh, you wanted an Andre 3000 verse? Well, or fuck you. You want an Andre 3000 verse so you can suck it as far as this pitch can happen. It's just the basic type format. But I look after it, it's just not that real affable type of song. I pretty much feel like this song probably shouldn't have even been on here. It's just kind of the format. It just felt like kind of extraneous in a lot of senses. But I would have liked considering that Andre 3000 goes back to like the 90s as far as what's first going to happen, considering that both these folks were architects in terms of like, genres and ATL music and pitch like that, I would have thought that this team up would have been a little bit more of something to write home about. But it's just kind of pitch that just felt like kind of like a derogatory type song more than anything else. But I just look after it. It kind of happens to be a thing. Yeah, but there's a lot of excellent songs on here. There are some commercial type moments, like I said, pretty similar to Honest and I Won. I'd have to say some songs like Blood, Sweat, Tears, a real nice one. There's like a sobering and productive kind of feeling motivated to kind of get here and accomplishing as far as those aspects going to happen. Very SFW within pitch. This is just one of those type ones that kind of has the format of like some of these type ones are like advancements of the Pluto kind of radio grabs, but just the pitch as far as saying, if you like the song Mirror by Lil Wayne off of the Carter Forest, the same sort of pitch that just kind of has that aspect of really, this is Future not as full bound kind of in drug mode amidst like those formats that just kind of like, not just where you're going to work, but just feeling like you want to get some stuff done as far as just like things just on the checklist to kind of knock out as far as those pitch can happen with just getting like, just being productive and having the hustle mode to kind of get goals accomplished, like Tupac would say some of those type pitches. My Mama is a quality one. It's like a rollout with heavy flash. I'd have to say with an aspect here, just a trailblazes kind of trap fleshes out within the mid 2010s type format. Definite block pounder. I'd have to say just the overall hot song. This has like some good snack run type music. I mean, this is definitely one for like the 3-6 Mafia type styles. It's like a good nice one for like some 3-6 Mafia style kind of snack runs, pitches like that. Just picking up like some good combos and bugles, pitches like that. Some of those particular type formats. Also within the aspect as far as pretty much just smoking like the neighborhood, some of those type formats. But also works like some pretty heavy stunt type noises, sort of stuff that like Travis Scott was doing, but Future just beat him to the punch by like a year in terms of like album type formats of it. So this is kind of a trendy type one for like those typical kind of bass thump, hella just not from like Blockaway type trap rumblers that we kind of have within those formats that just popped up so predominantly throughout the mid and late 2010s. I mean, there were songs like this previously, but just within the pitch of like the consistency of what 2010s trap was evolving into, this is one of those initial type ones that kind of did it. IBU is a nice one here. It's like a drizzled and gloomy kind of trap power ballad to kind of get within the aspects. It's another one that has like Pluto remnants, some of those type pitches. Definitely some hustlers, makeshift kind of get here. It's one of those songs to get it done and just some commerce as far as what's going to happen. So this is a particular kind of bruise type one, IBU, just within the pitch as far as those formats can happen. Just one of those type ones. I mean, judging by the album cover, it does feel like the aspect of this is kind of a brooding type album. I mean, it's kind of within the pitch that is just moody for Future as far as those formats can happen. Pluto is a little bit more kind of amidst the spiffiness, like the product of it, just kind of some mixtape ragers and pitches like that. But this particular one has the after effects of like, kind of like, it's kind of Eminem and Tech Nine kind of Just some Eminem and Tech Nine like kind of personable songs within those formats, but this does in like a makeshift type appeal as far as those appeals would kind of happen. So it just has that particular aspect of really having some good type, just kind of some good hustlers, makeshift kind of afterthought, and just like a brooding touch sense. So it just has a good product of it, just amidst like the conduct of getting arounds. The almost song on here, I guess when I said that it was when I said basically out of 17 songs on here, it was 15 and a half. So there's one almost song which is Look Ahead. So that particular song, Look Ahead, is like an alternative rock kind of commerce kind of get with the aspects here. It just reminds of something that you kind of get just like a more kind of on the road and just kind of and kind of on the road and in transit type motions within the pitch. It's like some extra thought, kind of smoke, definitely get some smokage fair kind of going just amidst like some errand runs, just kind of pick up barbecue, something like that, just kind of some task wrap up within a pitch. Look Ahead just feels like an alternative kind of song that Eminem would have done off the Marshall Mathers LP too. Some of those type ones that just kind of feels more within a more feels like an Outback kind of Bob Seger like tune within the pitch behind it. Just really feels ripped out of the mid 70s, mid 80s, some of those type forms. So good type pitch, but I just look after it. Just kind of the product. It just there are a few songs on here that like this is an album that is not as drug centric from Future as far as those formats can happen. It does have the tunes on here within certain senses, but this album does have the occasional drug song from Future out this album, but this album's not as full-bound getting shit-faced and pitches like that within the full-bound kind of velocity of it. So it's just the pitch as far as saying there are a few more ones on here within the pitch as far as saying I feel like Look Ahead is at least a decent song to smoke to within the format kind of it, but if you do have to drive or if there's not other folks in the whip as far as this person happens, it's not as affable really. It just kind of feels more of just like healthy kind of get some stuff done within the format, just kind of offhanded tasks, maybe picking up like barbecue that you don't often get within some type of pitches, but it just kind of feels more extra within the format of just if you're not in that productive type mode, it's not as hitting. But I look after it, so it's a good type tone. But yeah, it's the almost song. I'll Be Yours is a quality one. It's like a good advancement of radio grabs from Pluto. I'd have to say here within the pitch, just a personal kind of preoccupied kind of push as far as what's going to happen. So just Bell's Mingle pitches like that, just kind of caught up type vibes like the pitch as far as that particular format of just being amidst like the makeshift kind of get along as far as this format's going to happen in this future, aiming for like more pop and radio grabs within the pitch, but it does it kind of like a supersized version of the stuff that was on Pluto, some of those type formats. So it's just within the pitch. I do find myself missing like the formats of just like the more bleeders that kind of happen in like a venue type noise, more mingle with like divas and just kind of more go-go women pitches like that amidst the format of when you would think of like Never End and Turn on the Lights, some of those type pitches are just like a mingle kind of out and about. It doesn't have as much that kind of aspect of like club kind of advancements. Just kind of within the pitch of just being more kind of personable within like a makeshift type sense. So if you're expecting like songs like some of those type ones, like I was talking about Never End, some of those type ones within those pitches just doesn't have that as full bound, which is unfortunate because this album's not as full bound coming within the social aspect. It's just more kind of like there's more moments outside. It's different for Future kind of going more places within the album fair of this product, just having more places that are not just strictly in the trap or in the strip club as far as this first kind of. So it's just the format, just noticing some of those particular type of appeals. But songs like Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Look Ahead, I'll Be Yours, Side Effects, some of these type ones, like Honest and T-shirt, or Honest and I Want, some of these type formats are just not as full bound. Now I would say at least I Want and Honest have some degree of aspects just between the product that these are real popular with BC type formats as far as those pitches would kind of go, but it's just kind of not as centered to like more venue kind of specialize. I do definitely like these Young Scooter team-ups on here. Now, the thing about it is it's said that Young Scooter's on the song Special. I wasn't able to notice him on there, but he is definitely on How Can I Not, which is on the deluxe edition, so once again, I recommend getting that. How Can I Not's like a classic Future and Scooter team-up, I'd have to say here, just lofty and woozy, I'd say, within the concept, get some drugs in your system, get some smokage and drink fair in your system, pitches like that. But just kind of, this is like a comfy, this is lofty and woozy, but comfy, I'd have to say, just some late embellished as far as those formats can happen. So you would think within the product of it, this album could have had more songs like this within the pitch behind it. But once again, this is another one that's designated to the deluxe edition, so you do not actually pick up this one on here. Just like the standard type fare of it. But yeah, this classic team of just like everything ours, but just not as ferocious as that particular one. It's just a little bit more ambience, just having some drink in your system, just kind of venue type embellished within those appeals. Yeah, it's just some good late enjoyment within the product of it. Just kind of get some buzz going. Just had the basic concept of just the enjoyment of socializing with pals, and just the product of just like bells nearby, some of those type formats. Just typical kind of night ambience, just calmer within pitch with good type tone. Covered in Money is a nice one. It's like a vintage kind of trap destroyer to kind of get here. Just Liddy kind of turn up, I'd have to say, to a T as far as those aspects going to happen. This mixtape buzz cut vibes as far as those pitch kind of goes. So this is Future back on like his Dirty Sprite, and this is Future back on his Dirty Sprite and FBG the movie type vibes within some of those type pitches. So this is the typical type format, but it's just the concept. I'm glad, when Future does do these songs, he definitely nails them. There's not any weak moments in terms of the turn up type songs. It's just the pitch that they're just not on here as frequently. It's just the pitch that every single one of these, when you think of the ones that are the bangers, like when you think of songs like My Mama, Shit, Move That Dope, Covered in Money, some of these type pitches within the format of it, Karate Chop Remix, these are all banging within the aspects as far as what's supposed to happen, but it's just, there's not a high velocity of these. Side Effects is a quality one. Now this is like a dizzy but quick kind of makeshift out and about, it has to say within the product of it. Just hands full kind of tangents here. The song's like some hands full kind of Target music, I'd have to say, in like a trap sense as far as those first gonna have. So basically, if you want Target type music, pitches like that, Starbucks type music, Panera Bread, just in a more trap sense, something that Future would kind of do within those formats of just basic bellas, pitches like that within the particular format of just more workaday kind of within that particular tone, just has a good aspect to be able to get some of this. And I do like the dizzy type aspect of just saying that you're kind of haphazardly tore up, but it's just kind of within the pitch of just having like the caught upness of just having to be somewhat composed and just more organized within the pitch as far as those formats can happen. It's a good aspect to get Future on some of these type tangents just within the format, because these were not songs that he was doing in 2012. So it's just the pitch as far as saying, having that fleshed out to more, having more, just aims things more towards the straight laced and this kind of more proper type aspects as far as those pitch can happen. So it's just within the tone as far as getting towards it. Never Satisfied with Drake is a nice one. This is pretty similar to like How Can I Not, same sort of good type pitch here. It's like a nice night venue quickie, kind of get with the aspect. I do question why this particular song was as short as it was. It's really less than 2 minutes within the format, but it's pretty similar to For Real off of FBG, the movie. That's a good, nice one. These Drake and Future type team-ups were pretty excellent within the format, but For Real is definitely probably a little bit more buzzing type one that has a little bit more gliss type appeal, but this particular one is basic kind of, this is like, they Never Satisfied, like a basic kind of sip slow, I'd have to say with an aspect, just kind of enjoy the feeling just out in the air as far as this pitch kind of happens. So it's just that embellished, just kind of in transit type moments, not like a full-blown kind of ass shaker pitch like that, but just the product of just getting comfortable in the booth, some of those type areas, just having a drink nearby, or just plotting, figuring out what's going to happen just in a conduit type moment that this is plenty. It's basically just like ligament type music for having like lengthy nights and out and about type facets as far as those pitch combos. It's just a great type tone to have some of these, just because there's probably this extra type fair, just another classic Drake and Future type team up, I'd have to say. T-shirts, a quality ones, like a vintage kind of new era 2010s mixtape buzz to kind of get within the aspect here, just kind of murky, just woke up, I'd have to say, in Demon Time, just some good aspects of that, another good ride out within those pitches. So this one's pretty similar to My Mama, some of those type ones within the format as far as what's going to happen, just amidst the product of it. T-shirts like a Nard and B Beat, who's a good producer for Migos a lot of the time as far as those formats can have. So this is just a pitch. Is like another one of those early bird type ones. Is trap music was starting to flesh into like the IG Living and Snapchat type era within the pitch as far as those formats can have. So it's just the product of like getting some of those contemporary type ones as things started to pick up with them, like the evolution of how trap was getting to as far as those formats kind of go. Just good further typical kind of routine step out and stunt nights as far as those pitch can have. So good type aspect. A real aspected type one on here that has a lot of blitz and appeal would be Special. This is a real gas type one. Definitely like the appeal behind this one. This is one that said it has Young Scooter on here, but I didn't detect him on the song. It's kind of interesting that they said that, but it's kind of interesting that it says that. But this is like a haunting kind of half electric kind of makeshift hero, kind of get within the aspects here. Definitely a good trap bleeder, real excellent appeal. This has some extra snarl about it, and this like some radio fog as far as this pitch can have. So it's just within the format of just something. I just like the particular gasness just about this song. This has a real kind of dark fog about it. That the particular gasness about this song, this has a real dark fog that just has the aspect as far as getting towards something that pretty much just has like a rainfall type aspect as far as this pitch will kind of happen. It's kind of something that has like the trap appeal, but this is probably one of the more bruised songs off this album. When I say trap bleeder, it's just the aspect as far as getting. I really like the personal type aspect. This really has the hauntingness. This is something different from like the usual format for Future as far as this is going to happen. Not at least in terms of like a good, just kind of morose and bruised type number within the pitch. I definitely like the appeal this has. This particularly nails like the haunting aspects in like an Eminem and Tech 9 type sense, where it's not necessarily a horrorcore, it's just the pitch of having like that after effect of like something. And this is the one, like one of those bruised kind of rumination type songs within the pitch, as far as being able to say that this is like a good kind of go around within like some commerce, just in more a gas type sense. It just nails the particular appeal as far as getting towards it. This real makeshift hero, like the appeal. And I would say there's not a ton of folks seemingly that would have had this particular aspect. If there had been more songs like this, I would have said within the aspect would have been interesting tenor to have gotten within the pitch, but it's definitely some good type products as far as those pitches gonna happen with it. That's the tone as far as those formats gonna happen. Now I don't like. I want to say I talked about every song off this album as far as this formats gonna go. So yeah, this album gets a 10 out of 10. The social score I'll go ahead and give pretty much like a I'm either going to give the social score like a 9.75 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. I would look within the pitch. I feel like because this was an important album, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I feel like it did have 5 singles. A lot of these charted pretty well. Features pretty huge on like the market as far as this is going to happen. So it's just been the pitch as far as saying, even though I felt like Pluto had a lot more blitzers and this overall more kind of instantaneous kind of appeal within the aspect as far as like the banginess, this one's just not as crazy, but it does have the aspect of just having more chart appeal and more commercial aspects about it. So it's just that the tone as far as saying that you do get some of these moments, but the mixtape feature is just not on full display. It's kind of added in as like a spice, but it does have some commercial type moments, introducing like these trap ballads, introducing like IG living kind of songs for diva and polished babe kind of Instagram stories, pitches like that. Some good kind of like some makeshift ballads and some basic bitch type music for Target and Starbucks type girls in like a trap type sense. So just as the format of getting towards some of these type of ones, like some commerce ones for like errand runs and pitches like that, just being productive and kind of sobering within some of those type pitches, getting some stuff done. Just kind of the format, just trying some new tricks, and those angles particularly work. It's just kind of the format as far as saying just has the pitch behind it, mixed in with like some trap hero, just some Bruce type ones. This is a more Bruce type album than Pluto was within the aspects of it. So this kind of the pitch of just having the good haphazardness that just kind of has like makeshift kind of bruising within certain sentences, just a little bit of stunt step out within the format of a little bit strip club type noise, but just more the pitch of just kind of the embellish of just getting along with standard day fare and like a pitch of just kind of more Hustler's makeshift type format. So this is more of a Hustler's makeshift type album, but it just does within the pitch of nailing it within those aspects. So it's this kind of pitch that it just lacked like a number 1, number 3 within the pitch, but definitely was a good attempt within the format. It's just kind of some growing pains as features started to become completely ubiquitous and just seen as like an archetype, or it started to become seen as like an architect of trap music and a demigod about that as far as this pitch kind of. But I look after just in a demigod about that as far as this pitch kind of. So that's the tone. But in terms of the future, like Future has dropped like 3 albums in 2024, maybe like a mixtape, also some of that format. There was a lot of stuff that Future did in 2024, but it's mostly ignored because the Kendrick and Drake beef as far as this pitch can happen. But those are some excellent type blitzers. I pretty much reviewed every Future product now between like 2011 and 2016 or so, up to pretty much the Future Hendrix albums minus like maybe one, which I'm not thinking I'll have to think of the product, but I do have some more Future on the way as far as those forecasts going to happen. I'm going to get to some more of these mixtapes by him, pitches like that, more Casino, more of FBG, the Free Band Gang folks, as far as this pitch kind of. Definitely some heavy blitzers off this album. This is a classic, easy enough.